The night had always been the same for Mia Carter. Long shifts serving people who looked through her like she was wallpaper, carrying trays while Manhattan glittered cold and indifferent beyond the windows. Inside, she knew only bone-deep exhaustion and the kind of fear that lived in her chest. Fear of falling behind on rent, fear of disappearing into invisibility, fear of what came next if she ever stopped moving. Then he walked in. Seojun Cho, the name spoken in hushed Korean and careful English, the man who built empires in boardrooms and buried problems in silence. The restaurant seemed to hold its breath the moment he entered. Eyes tracked him without wanting to. Shoulders straightened. Servers froze mid-step. And Mia, heart slamming against her ribs, felt the sharp edge of something she had never had to survive before. A crystal glass cut through the air. She caught it in her vision first. A deadly glint, a killing arc aimed straight at him. Instinct took over. She threw herself forward, praying her body would be enough. The glass struck her back. It exploded. Pain tore through her spine like fire and lightning at once. Warm blood spilled down her skin. Silence crashed down, absolute and suffocating. Mia hit the marble floor. Glass shards scattered around her like ice shattered into knives. Every eye in the room locked on her. Every breath stopped. And then Seojun's gaze found her on the ground. Cold. Unreadable. The kind of look that meant calculations were being made. Something whispered deep in her bones that surviving tonight was just the price of entry. The real cost was still coming. Before we continue, I need to know something. Where are you watching from tonight? Drop your city in the comments. It still amazes me how far this story travels, and it makes this moment feel like we're all here together, watching what happens next. Mia Carter was 25 years old, and her feet had stopped feeling like they belonged to her sometime around 11. She'd pulled a double lunch shift at a diner in Queens where tips barely covered subway fare, then rushed across town on a packed train where she stood, pressed against strangers who smelled like the end of their own long days. She'd changed her shirt in a Starbucks bathroom, tied on a fresh white apron over her red server's vest, and made it to the upscale Korean fusion restaurant in Midtown with 2 minutes to spare. The place smelled like soy glaze and wealth. Warm amber lights cast shadows across dark wood and white marble. The plates here cost more than her weekly grocery bill. People in this world didn't look at servers unless something was wrong, and even then, they looked through them. Mia had learned how to be invisible, not because she wanted to be, but because invisible kept you employed. Invisible kept you breathing. She moved between tables with her chin tucked just enough, her eyes reading every shift in posture, every tightening jaw, every hand that reached for a glass too quickly. Growing up, Black and poor in America had taught her one survival rule that never failed. Trouble always showed up before it announced itself. You just had to watch for the signs people thought they were hiding. The doors opened, and the restaurant changed. Not with noise or drama, just a shift in pressure, like air getting thinner before a storm. Men in sharp, dark suits stepped inside first. They didn't smile. They didn't hurry. They scanned the dining room like wolves deciding what belonged to them. Conversations dropped mid-sentence. A woman's laugh cut off. Silverware touched plates and went silent. Seojun Cho walked in last. Mia had never seen him before, but recognition hit her like cold water. The moment she felt the atmosphere tighten, she knew. He moved like gravity bent for him. Calm. Controlled. His eyes swept the space slowly, missing absolutely nothing. Power didn't just enter with him, it settled over the entire room like a hand pressing down on every throat. Guests watched him without lifting their faces. Servers adjusted their paths to avoid crossing his. Even the soft Korean jazz playing through the speakers seemed to lower in volume, as if the music itself was afraid to be too loud. Mia told herself to keep working. Don't stare. Don't stop. She lifted a bottle of wine from the bar, moved toward a table near the windows where a middle-aged couple sat frozen in the middle of what used to be an argument. The woman wore a diamond bracelet that caught the light. Her smile was tight, performative. The man's hand trembled slightly when he lifted his water glass just a little, just enough for Mia to see. Her stomach knotted. She moved on. Tray balanced, breath steady, one foot in front of the other. Seojun was seated near the center of the dining room, his back to the main space. Two men in immaculate suits flanked him on either side, close enough to act, far enough to let him breathe. No one sat directly behind him. No one would dare. As Mia approached with a bottle of red winehouse selection, poured tableside polite smile required she felt it. A shift, like the moment before lightning strikes. Her eyes flicked, left almost on instinct. A man stood near the bar. His face was flushed, not from alcohol but from something hotter, something burning. His jaw was locked tight. His fingers gripped a crystal tumbler, knuckles gone pale from the pressure, time fractured. Mia saw the exact second the decision crossed his face, saw his shoulder roll back, saw the angle forming, the trajectory calculating, the certainty settling into his muscles. The glass left his hand. It flew in a clean, deadly arc, spinning end over end, straight towards Seojun Cho's skull. Mia didn't think. The wine bottle slipped from her fingers. It shattered at her feet in a spray of red that looked too much like what was coming. She stepped forward fast, reckless, blind throwing herself between him and the violence hurtling through the air. The crystal glass struck her back. It exploded on impact. White-hot pain burst across her shoulders and spine. Every nerve screamed. Sound vanished as though someone had cut the world's volume to zero. Then came the heat, the tearing sensation, the pull of gravity dragging her down. The restaurant erupted. Screams, chairs scraping across marble, glass raining down like hail made of knives. Mia hit the floor hard. Her vision blurred at the edges. Blood spread hot across the red fabric of her vest, soaking through to the white apron beneath, pooling on cold marble. She tried to breathe and couldn't tell if air was reaching her lungs. For one endless moment, no one moved. Fear nailed everyone in place. Then Seojun Cho turned. Slowly, deliberately, he looked down at her. His expression gave away nothing. No shock, no concern, just cold calculation. The kind of look a man gives a problem he's deciding how to solve. His eyes dark, sharp, utterly unreadable, locked onto hers. Mia's pulse hammered in her ears. She knew, in that frozen instant, that she hadn't saved herself. She had stepped into something far more dangerous than flying glass. She had made herself visible, and in his world, visibility came with a price. If this story is hitting you, support it. Like, subscribe, and share. Let's see how far this goes. The restaurant became a cage. Seojun stood, and reality shifted. 3 fingers raised, his men moved. Doors slammed, locks engaged. A woman tried to stand. A hand pressed her down. Final. Phones disappeared from tables, confiscated by men in dark suits moving with surgical precision. No one protested. Fear had weight. Mia lay on cold marble, glass biting her palms. Pain screamed across her spine, white-hot. Blood soaked through her vest, pooling beneath her. Every breath felt like drowning. A medic appeared, kneeling with a black bag. He cut through her vest and apron without asking. Cold air hit exposed wounds. She gasped, biting her lip until she tasted copper. Through pain, Mia's eyes tracked movement. Old instinct. A man near the bar, half hidden. His face wasn't frozen in shock. His mouth curved. Satisfaction, the kind of smile people wore when plans unfolded perfectly. Her stomach dropped. This wasn't random. This was choreographed. Kitchen doors exploded outward. Smoke billowed, thick and choking. A server stumbled out, blood streaming between his fingers. Screams erupted. Someone shouted in Korean. Glass shattered more of it. Deliberate. The medic ducked, shielding Mia as something crashed near the kitchen. Seojun didn't flinch. He turned slowly, eyes sweeping chaos with unnerving calm. One of his men sprinted toward the kitchen. 2 gunshots cracked. Then silence. Too fast. Too clean. The man returned, shook his head once. Seojun's jaw tightened. His eyes cut from Mia to the smiling man. Then back. Something deadly shifted behind his gaze. This was war disguised as dining, he said quietly. 2 men lifted Mia. Pain exploded white. They carried her through a hallway into a back office smelling of leather and cigarettes. She was lowered onto a couch. The medic pulled out tweezers, gauze, scissors. Seojun stood by the door, watching. Not like a man attacked, like a man solving an equation. The medic extracted glass shard by shard. Each piece felt like fire. 6, 7, 8. You moved without thinking, Seojun said. Mia's mind clawed through fog, replaying the attack. The man's face, the kitchen explosion, the timing. Too perfect. Her voice came out rough through gritted teeth. They wanted spectacle. She swallowed blood. They wanted you exposed in public. The room went still. Seojun stepped closer until he stood directly over her, close enough that she could see the coldness in his eyes. That's a dangerous thing to understand, he said softly. Mia tried to sit up. The medic pressed her down. Seojun didn't blink. His gaze pinned her. You can't go home. You can't talk to cops. You can't disappear without my help. Her throat closed. What if I try? Seojun tilted his head. The way someone looks at a child asking a question they already know will break their heart. Then you won't survive the week. The medic wrapped her back. The door opened. Voices drifted in low, tense Korean she couldn't understand. Seojun turned to leave but paused at the threshold. He didn't look back. Someone wanted me to see you bleed, he said. Now they know your face. They know your name. And they know exactly what you mean to me. The door closed. The lock turned. Mia Carter, lying on a couch in a room she couldn't leave, realized with sickening clarity that saving his life had painted a target on her back in a war she didn't understand. Outside, footsteps moved with purpose. Voices murmured in Korean. Phones rang, and the man with the satisfied smile was still out there, watching, waiting, knowing exactly what he'd set in motion. Mia woke to silence so complete it felt wrong. No sirens, no street noise, just air conditioning and distant Korean voices. The penthouse was glass and steel, modern, expensive, wrong. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Queens, but the glass was tinted so dark the world outside felt like a photograph. She lay in a bed that wasn't hers, wrapped in sheets that smelled like nothing. Her back screamed when she tried to sit up. Pain tore through her shoulders, sharp enough to steal breath. A woman appeared. Korean, mid-40s, hair in a tight bun. She entered without knocking, carrying bandages and antiseptic. Didn't smile, didn't speak, just gestured for Mia to turn over. The woman's hands were efficient, practiced. She peeled away old bandages without warning. Cold air hit exposed wounds. Mia bit down on a gasp. The woman cleaned, applied fresh gauze, wrapped everything tight, then left. No words, no eye contact. Days blurred. Medication dulled pain but turned time elastic. Morning felt like afternoon. Night came without warning. Mia slept in fragments, waking to find the woman there again, changing bandages, disappearing like a ghost. Armed men stood at every entrance. 2 by the front door, 1 near the elevator, another on the balcony. They rotated shifts but never spoke to her. When she asked one, "Where am I?" he looked through her like furniture. Seojun visited daily. Same time, though Mia couldn't say what time. He sat across from the bed, never too close. Asked careful questions. How's the pain? Can you walk? Do you remember faces? She answered because silence felt more dangerous. On the 4th day or 5th, Mia woke early. Dawn light filtered gray through tinted windows. Voices drifted from the hallway. Korean, low and tense. She moved to the door, pressed her ear against cool wood. She wasn't supposed to survive. A man's voice. Flat. Boss made adjustments. Younger voice. Adjustments. Sharp, humorless laugh. That's what we're calling it? Silence. Then, would have been simpler if the contractor had finished the job. Simpler doesn't matter. What matters is fewer complications now. Footsteps moved away. Mia stood frozen. Understanding crashed over her. She wasn't here because Seojun wanted to protect her. She was here because letting her die would have caused problems. Witnesses. Questions. Attention he didn't want. Her life was a calculated risk. A complication managed by keeping her breathing just long enough to stop being one. That night, when Seojun came, Mia didn't wait. "If I had died," she said, voice steady despite her hammering pulse. "Would it have changed anything?" Seojun studied her. Something shifted in his expression recognition, like he'd been waiting for her to figure it out. Only the timing and method. Mia's chest tightened. "So I'm alive because your death in my restaurant, protecting me, in front of witnesses, would have created more problems than your survival." He didn't look away, didn't soften it. The math worked out this way. He stood, adjusted his cufflinks, moved toward the door. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we talk about what happens next." The door closed. The lock turned. Mia sat in the dark, staring at windows that turned the city distant and unreachable. Sleep felt impossible every time she closed her eyes. Would have been simpler if the contractor had finished the job. Someone had hired the attack. Someone had paid for violence. And that someone was still out there. Somewhere in the penthouse, a phone rang. Once. Twice. Stopped. Footsteps moved fast in the hallway. Voices rose. Urgent now. The careful, quiet shattering. A door slammed. Then another. Mia's pulse spiked. She stood, back screaming, and moved to her door, pressed her ear against it, shouting in Korean. Running. The unmistakable sound of guns being loaded. Then silence. Worse than the noise. The kind of silence that meant something had just gone very, very wrong. The power died on the 6th night. Not a flicker. Complete darkness slamming down. Air conditioning cut off. Electronics died. Silence pressed in. Mia sat up, back screaming. Her heart raced. That instinct, the one that had kept her alive in Baltimore, was screaming. Something was wrong. In the hallway, boots hit hardwood. Fast. Korean voices snapped orders. Safeties clicked off. The guards were prepared. Mia moved to the door. Listened. A car engine idled below. Too long. Waiting. Heavy footsteps on the stairs. Different rhythm. Different weight. Coming up. Glass exploded upstairs. One window. Then another. Gunfire cracked. Massive. Too close. Mia dropped. Hands over ears. Heart slamming. More shots. Return fire. Someone shouted. A body hit the floor hard enough she felt it through walls. Her door burst open. The young guard grabbed her arm, dragged her out. No explanation. They moved fast through darkness, his hand tight on her wrist. The living room was chaos. Furniture overturned. Glass everywhere. One guard lay on marble, blood pooling dark beneath him, eyes staring at nothing. Another crouched behind the kitchen island, firing toward shattered windows. Muzzle flashes lit the room in bursts. Mia was shoved into a closet. Panic room. Steel-reinforced door. The guard pushed her inside, slammed it. The lock engaged. She stood in darkness, breathing hard, listening to muffled gunfire through steel. Then, silence. Worse than the shooting. The lock disengaged. Seojun stood there, suit jacket gone, shirt sleeves rolled up, a cut bleeding across his cheek. Behind him, war zone. They're gone. Mia stepped out, legs unsteady. How many? 5 attackers. 2 got away. He turned. We lost 2 men. She looked at the guard on the floor, the one who'd looked through her. He wasn't looking anymore. Seojun gripped her shoulder, firm enough to hurt, turned her to face him. This wasn't about me. They're hunting you. Mia's breath stopped. What? They bypassed 3 secure locations to hit this one. They came when I wasn't here. They came for you. His eyes cold. Someone from your past wants you erased. Her chest tightened. That's not. Who wanted you dead before that night? Baltimore. The club. Marcus. I fled Baltimore, she said, voice barely steady. A club owner. Marcus Webb. He hurt women who worked for him. When one ended up in the hospital, I testified. He went to prison for 8 months. She swallowed. When he got out, I ran. I thought 200 miles was enough distance. Sojun's jaw tightened. He pulled out his phone, spoke rapid Korean. Hung up. Emergency meeting. Now. Within 20 minutes, 6 men arrived. They gathered in what was left of the living room, speaking tense Korean. Names, locations. The word for betrayal, repeated like a curse. Seojun stopped mid-sentence. His eyes cut to one man. A lieutenant, older. Had been there since the restaurant. The man's face went pale. You, Seojun said quietly. The lieutenant raised his hands. Boss, I can explain. Explain how they knew which penthouse. Explain how they knew I'd be gone. Explain how they knew exactly which room she was in. The lieutenant's eyes darted toward the door. Too late. 2 guards blocked it. How much did they pay you? 30,000. The words fell out. I didn't think I didn't know. You didn't think she mattered. The lieutenant looked at Mia. Regret crossed his face. She's nobody. Just some waitress. Seojun moved. One motion. A gunshot cracked. The lieutenant dropped. Silence filled the penthouse. Mia stood frozen, ears ringing, staring. Seojun lowered his weapon, turned to his men. Find out who's protecting Marcus Webb. Find out how deep this goes. And find out who else I can't trust. The men scattered. Seojun looked at Mia. Blood dripped from his cheek onto his shirt. Pack what you need. We're leaving in 10 minutes. Where? Somewhere they won't find you. His voice cold. Because if there's one traitor, there are others, and next time we might not be fast enough. Outside, car engines started. Voices called in Korean, and somewhere in the city, Marcus Webb was alive, protected, and hunting. The walls had never been protection. They'd been a spotlight showing exactly where to strike. They moved before dawn. No explanation. Just Sojun's men loading black SUVs, while Mia stood in the ruined penthouse with a bag she'd been given 10 minutes to pack. The body was gone. The lieutenant who'd sold her location for $30,000 had been dragged away, blood mopped up, like he'd never existed. Mia couldn't stop seeing it. The moment Seojun pulled the trigger, the way the man dropped, she'd flinched but hadn't screamed, hadn't looked away. This was the reality she'd stepped into. No safety nets, just brutal, immediate consequences. They drove through empty streets. 3 SUVs, armed men in each. Mia sat between 2 guards who didn't speak. Seojun rode up front, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid Korean. She caught fragments. Names. Locations. The word for money repeated like a curse. The safe house was in Brooklyn. Warehouse district. Industrial. They pulled into an underground garage. Metal door rolled down. Locked. Inside, concrete floors, high ceilings, minimal furniture, windows covered with blackout material, less like a safe house, more like a tomb. Seojun's men swept the building, checked rooms, set perimeter security. Mia sat at a metal table, watching gray light creep through cracks. Dawn breaking on a day she wasn't sure she'd survive. Seojun appeared, still wearing the blood-stained shirt. The cut on his cheek looked angry. Red. He set his phone on the table, pulled up a message, turned the screen toward her. A photo. Her face. Security footage from the restaurant the moment after the glass hit, blood spreading across her vest. Below, text in English and Korean, $50,000 USD. Alive. Do not harm. Mia's breath caught. 50,000. Alive. Not for who you were before, Seojun said quietly. For who you are to me. Her mind spun. Marcus Webb doesn't have that kind of money. He ran a club in Baltimore. Someone's backing him. Someone with reach. Seojun leaned against the counter. This isn't about revenge for testimony. This is about leverage. Leverage? For pressure. For negotiation. For revenge against me through you. His eyes met hers. You saved my life in public. That created a debt. In my world, debt is power. And you holding that debt makes you valuable. Mia stared at the number. 50,000. Her life reduced to currency. But something shifted in her chest. Not fear. Something harder. My life has value now, she said slowly. Real value. Seojun studied her. Something changed in his expression, recognition, maybe respect. Yes, he said. That makes you a commodity. The word landed like a fist. Not a person. A thing to be traded, bought, sold. How many people have access to this? Mia asked. It's been circulating for 6 hours. Could be hundreds by now. Dealers, fixers, anyone looking for quick money. So anyone could walk up to you on the street and try to collect. He pushed off the counter. That's why you don't leave this building. That's why. His phone buzzed. Once. Twice. 3 times rapid. Seojun picked it up. His face went still. What? Mia asked. He turned the phone. Another message. Different sender. A video. Grainy. Security footage from outside the warehouse. Time-stamped 2 minutes ago. A woman stood across the street. Young. Black. Hoodie pulled up. She stared directly at the camera. Smiled. Walked away. The message below. Found her. Confirming location. ETA 30 minutes. Mia's blood turned to ice. They know we're here. Seojun was already moving. Barking orders in Korean. His men scattered. Weapons drawn. He grabbed Mia's arm. Pulled her toward the back. How many exits? She asked. 2. Both covered now. Then we're trapped. Seojun's grip tightened. No. We're bait. Behind them, car engines rumbled outside. Multiple vehicles surrounding the building. And somewhere in Brooklyn, 30 minutes away, someone else was coming to collect their $50,000. They didn't come. The car engines idled outside for 23 minutes, then pulled away. No gunfire, no breach, just silence. Seojun's men searched the perimeter. Found nothing except tire marks and the video proving someone had been watching. They were testing us, Seojun said, seeing how we'd react. Mia sat on a crate, hands shaking from adrenaline. So what happens when they stop testing? Seojun made calls, paced, finally turned to her. We're leaving the country. The words hit like cold water. What? Seoul. Tomorrow. New identity. Real protection. He pulled a passport from his jacket, set it on the table. Korean passport. Her photo. A name in Hangul. Kim Min-ji. Your new name. By Friday, you'll be in Gangnam with money to start over. No one hunting you. Mia picked up the passport. Traced the unfamiliar characters. Kim Min-ji. A person who'd never testified. Never saved anyone's life. Never had a price on her head. Freedom. For the first time since glass shattered on her back, she could imagine it. Sunlight without fear. Streets where her face meant nothing. When do we leave? Tomorrow. 1800 hours. She nodded. Slipped the passport into her pocket. That night, she lay staring at ceiling pipes, turning the passport over and over. Kim Min-ji. New person. New life. But sleep refused to come. Baltimore. She'd run, changed her name, worked cash, stayed invisible, And it hadn't mattered. Marcus Webb had still found her. 200 miles hadn't been enough. 2 years hadn't been enough. What made her think an ocean would be different? At dawn, Mia found Seojun in the kitchen. She set the passport on the table, slid it across. "I'm not running." Seojun looked at her. "This is your way out. You disappear." "And then what?" "Someone still wants me dead. When I'm not available, they move to the next target. Someone weaker. Someone who can't fight back. That's not your responsibility." "Yes, it is. I stepped into this. I made myself visible." She leaned forward. "I'm done pretending I can hide from it." Something shifted in Seojun's eyes. Recognition. Then you understand what comes next. "I stop hiding. I become exactly what they want me to be. Bait. Yes, you could die. I could die in soul too. At least this way. I'm choosing how." Seojun leaned back. A small smile. "Not warmth. Respect. We make you visible. Let them think they found you. Control the location. Control the timing. And when they come, we end it." They spent 6 hours planning. Locations. Timing. Information to leak. By noon, the plan was set. Mia would move to a brownstone in Park Slope, windows visible from the street. Minimal security. Word would leak through channels. 48 hours. Wait for someone to move. "This won't just be Marcus Webb's people," Seojun warned. "Could be anyone. Good. The more who come, the more we eliminate." Seojun's phone buzzed. His expression went cold. "What?" He turned to the screen. News article. Baltimore Sunday, 20 minutes old. Body found in Inner Harbor identified as Marcus Webb. Apparent suicide. Mia's blood turned to ice. That's not possible. Someone killed him. Made it look like suicide. Then who... Understanding crashed. "Who's been hunting me?" Seojun scrolled through messages. Stopped. Showed her. A photo. Marcus Webb. Dead. Eyes open. Floating in Baltimore's harbor. The message below. "Webb was just the muscle. The real client wants her delivered by Friday. She took something that didn't belong to her. Price just went up to $100,000. Mia's mind raced. "Took something? I don't understand." "I testified about what Webb did. I never took." Seojun read further down the message thread. His face darkened. "There's more. The girl she put in the hospital. That girl had family. Powerful family. And they don't forget." The warehouse went silent. Mia's hands shook. The woman. The one who'd ended up in the hospital. The reason Mia had testified. She'd never asked about her background, never wondered if there was more to the story. "I thought I was doing the right thing," Mia whispered. "I thought I was helping her." "You were," Seojun said. "But her family sees it differently. You exposed their daughter's trauma, made it public, made her a witness." He looked at her. "In some circles, that's worse than the injury itself." And whoever wanted Mia Carter had just doubled their offer for a woman who'd committed the sin of speaking truth. The warehouse in Brooklyn smelled like rust and old rain. 3 stories, windows broken or boarded, perfect sightlines from the street, perfect trap. Mia stood in the center of the main floor, surrounded by empty space. A single chair, a camping lantern, nothing else. Seojun's men had stripped it clean, turned it into a stage where she was the only actor. "You'll be visible from the street," Seojun had said. "That's the point. They need to believe you're vulnerable." Now, standing alone with shadows pressing in, vulnerability felt less like acting and more like truth. Seojun's voice crackled in her earpiece. "Position set. We have eyes on all approaches. 8 men I trust completely. Another 12 on standby." Mia touched the device in her ear. "And how many are hunting me?" "Unknown." She moved to the rusted windows, looked out at Brooklyn stretching dark. Somewhere out there, word was spreading. Carefully planted rumors, strategic leaks. Mia Carter alone in Red Hook, minimal security, easy target. her name floating through the underworld like blood in water. Movement. Seojun's voice. Sharp. Black sedan. 2 occupants. Circling. Mia's pulse spiked. She kept breathing steady. Hands at her sides. Visible but not posed. Natural. Believable. They're parking. 3 buildings down. Watching. Minutes crawled. Mia stood at the window, fighting instinct to move back into shadows. This was the plan. Be visible. Be bait. Second vehicle. White van. 4 occupants. Eastern approach. 2 groups, both watching, neither making a move. They're waiting to see if it's a trap, Seojun said. It is a trap. They don't know that yet. More waiting. Mia's back throbbed where glass had shattered. Third vehicle. Seojun's voice tighter. SUV. Unknown number. Parking north side. 3 groups. All circling. What is it? Mia asked quietly. The SUV. I don't recognize the pattern. Someone with resources just showed up. Mia's chest tightened. She forced herself to stay at the window. Movement. Pedestrian. Coming from the south. Alone. Mia scanned the street. Saw her. A woman. Black. Mid-20s. Hoodie up. Walking deliberately. Staring straight at the warehouse. The same woman from the video. She's coming straight to the entrance, Seojun said. Let her come. Footsteps echoed below. Metal doors scraping. Boots on concrete. Slow. Confident. Mia stepped back from the window. Moved to the center. Stood in the light. The woman appeared at the top of the stairs. Smiled. Same smile from the video. Mia Carter. You're worth a lot of money. So I've heard. The woman pulled out a phone. Started recording. Just need to confirm it's you. And if I don't cooperate, then this gets messy. Behind her. Footsteps. More people coming up. The woman's smile widened. My crew. 4 more people appeared. Armed. Positioned around the room, cutting off exits. In Mia's ear. Hold. Don't move yet. The woman lifted her phone. Say your name. Mia stayed silent. Say your name or I start breaking fingers. From below, an explosion of sound. Glass shattering. Shouting. Gunfire. The woman spun toward the stairs. What the? More gunfire. Closer. The sedan group, the van group, they'd breached simultaneously. The woman cursed. Barked orders. Her crew moved to defensive positions. Chaos erupted. Multiple groups flooding in. Fighting each other. Fighting for her. In her ear, Seojun. Get down, now. Mia dropped. Covered her head. Gunfire tore through the warehouse. Bullets sparked off metal. Someone screamed. Then a different sound. Deeper. Mechanical. A helicopter. Spotlight cutting through broken windows. Blinding white. A voice over loudspeaker. Korean. Commanding. All gunfire stopped. Everyone froze. Seojun's voice in her ear. That's them. Right on time. The helicopter spotlight pinned everyone in place. The Korean voice boomed commands. Not a question. An order. Then the lights died. Not the helicopter, the warehouse. The entire block. Complete blackness. Strategic. In her ear, Seojun. Now! Extraction team, move! Mia's eyes fought to adjust. She saw ropes dropping from above. Not from the rafters, from the helicopter. Fast roping. Military precision. Shapes descended. 6. 8. Armed night vision. Above. Someone screamed, but it was too late. Flashbangs detonated. Mia squeezed her eyes shut, hands over ears. Even prepared, the concussion was massive. When she opened her eyes, the warehouse was pandemonium. The helicopter team had landed. They weren't there for Mia, they were there for everyone else. Seojun materialized from the chaos, grabbed Mia's arm. This way. They ran toward the back, his men providing cover. The helicopter team systematically neutralizing the bounty hunters. Professional, efficient, brutal, through smoke. A figure emerged, moving with purpose. Hunting. Mia saw the blade. Tactical knife, moving straight toward her through the chaos. Military gear. Professional. He raised the knife. Seojun moved, faster than thought. Stepped between her and the blade. Put his body in the path. The knife meant for Mia's throat buried itself in Sojun's side. He grunted, staggered, stayed upright, raised his weapon, fired twice. The attacker dropped. Mia caught Seojun as he sagged. Blood soaked through his shirt. Warm, spreading fast. "Why would you do that?" Her voice broke, hands pressed against the wound. Seojun's face was pale. Sweat beaded his forehead, but his eyes stayed fierce. "Because you're not just anyone anymore." One of the helicopter team appeared. Korean, military bearing. He spoke rapidly to Seojun, then to his team. Two of them moved to secure Seojun. "Boss's brother," the man said to Mia in accented English. "Seoul sent us." Extraction. Sirens wailed. Close. Getting closer. Police. Fire department. The helicopter team leader barked orders. His men moved with precision, securing the scene, marking the bounty hunters for pickup. The woman from the video was zip-tied, unconscious. "Go," Seojun said to Mia. Blood on his lips. "The police, you can't be here. I'm not leaving you. You have to." His hand gripped her wrist. Weak. "Questions. Exposure. You'll be vulnerable." The team leader spoke. "We have medical on the roof. Helicopter standing by." "Boss, we need to move." Seojun was carried toward the back exit. Mia followed. Through smoke. Over bodies. Out into the alley. The helicopter hovered low. Ropes. Harnesses. Military extraction. Seojun was secured, lifted up. The team leader turned to Mia. "You too. Boss's orders. What about? Police will find bounty hunters. Seoul family will handle cleanup. You come now." Mia was harnessed. Lifted. The city fell away below. Sirens converging on the warehouse. Lights. Chaos. Inside the helicopter, a medic worked on Seojun. IV. Pressure. Oxygen. The team leader handed Mia a tablet. A message. Same number that sent Marcus Webb's death photo. A new image. The warehouse. Time-stamped 4 minutes ago. The message below. "Good." Cho family showed their hand. "Now we know Seoul's involved. Tell the girl this changes nothing. We have resources too. And patience." The helicopter banked toward Manhattan. Toward a private medical facility. Toward whatever came next. He had bled for her. Seoul had mobilized for her. But the real enemy was still watching. Still moving. And now they knew this war had gone international. Seojun survived. The knife had missed major organs by centimeters. Surgeon's skill and luck. He woke 3 days later in a private facility in Manhattan, pale and diminished but alive. Mia stayed. Against orders. Against logic. She sat by his bed, watching men come and go with expressions that grew tighter each day. On the second day, she overheard 2 lieutenants in the hallway, speaking Korean. 2 crews defected. Park's organization and the Incheon group. Money? Frozen. 3 accounts. Someone tipped federal. Contacts. Half stopped answering. The other half want to renegotiate. Power didn't vanish. It fractured. When the facility went quiet, Seojun opened his eyes. "You're still here. Where else would I be?" He studied her. Something tired in his gaze. Something like defeat. "If you stay, this never ends. You'll always be watched. You'll never be truly safe." Mia leaned forward. "Neither will you." His lips curved. Not quite a smile. "That's different. I chose this life. I chose to stay." They looked at each other. She'd thrown herself in front of glass. He'd taken a knife. Neither thinking about consequences. Just instinct. "You should go," Seojun said. "While I'm weak. Disappear. I'll make sure no one follows." Mia stood. Walked to the window. "No." she said quietly. That night, after Seojun fell into medicated sleep, Mia made a call from a burner phone. A man answered. Korean accent. Cautious. Who is this? Someone who knows Seojun Cho is vulnerable. Someone who has information you want. Silence. You're the woman. I need a meeting. Tonight. Why would I meet with you? Because Seojun exiled you 6 months ago. Because you want back in. And because I can tell you exactly which territories are unprotected right now. More silence. Where? She gave an address. Hung up. By morning, whispers spread through the underworld. Seojun Cho negotiating from weakness. Territory agreements shifting. The woman making independent moves. Mia was in the kitchen when Seojun appeared. Pale. Leaning heavy on the doorframe. Anger in his eyes. What did you do? She turned. What I had to. You contacted Min-soo. You traded intelligence about my operations. He breathed carefully. You destabilized everything I built. I stabilized myself. By undermining me. By making myself valuable to your enemies. They think they can use me against you. That makes me a player, not a pawn. That gives me leverage. Seojun stared. Then laughed. Harsh. Surprised. Almost impressed. You're dangerous now. I learned from you. He moved closer despite pain. You understand what you've done? You've made yourself a threat to me. Yes, I should. What? Kill me? Mia held his gaze. You took a knife for me 3 days ago. You're not killing me now. Truth settled between them. Heavy, protecting her had cost him control. Trusting her had made her the most dangerous piece on his board. What do you want? Seojun asked quietly. To survive. To stop running. To end this. By starting a war? By becoming someone too valuable to kill. Seojun's phone buzzed. He read the message. His expression went cold. What? He turned the screen. A photo. Min-soo. The man she'd met with. Dead. Single bullet. The message. Tell the woman she made a mistake. We don't need her cooperation, just her presence. Final offer. Surrender by dawn tomorrow or the facility burns. Everyone inside dies. We're watching. We know Seoul's backup is gone. You're alone now. Mia's blood turned to ice. How many people are here? 12. Patients. Staff. Because of me. Because of both of us. Outside, a car engine started. Pulled away. Then another. Seojun moved to the window. My men. They're leaving. Why? Because someone just made them a better offer. He looked at her. We're alone. The people in this facility are innocent, and whoever wants you has us exactly where they want us. Dawn was 10 hours away. 10 hours. Mia stood at the window, watching the street below. 2 cars idled at opposite ends of the block. Watching. Waiting. Making sure no one left. Behind her, Seojun was on the phone. Speaking rapid Korean. His voice was strained, weak from the wound but determined. Seoul can't get another team here in time, he said after hanging up. 10 hours minimum. The family is scrambling, but we don't have 10 hours. Mia finished. They stood in silence. The facility was small. Boutique medical. 12 people total, including them. A doctor, 3 nurses, 6 other patients, 2 security guards who'd already fled with Seojun's men. Innocent people. About to die because Mia had testified 2 years ago in Baltimore. There's another option, Seojun said quietly. Mia turned to face him. You surrender. I stay. They take you. The facility survives. No. It's logical. No. Mia moved closer. They don't want me to live. They want me delivered so they can kill me themselves. Publicly. To make a point. She held his gaze. And the second I'm gone, they kill you anyway. You're a witness to everything. Seojun leaned against the wall. The wound was draining him. He wouldn't admit it, but she could see the pain in every movement. Then we evacuate, he said. Get everyone out. Scatter them. They're watching both exits. Cars at each end. The moment we move 12 people, they know. They come in. So what do you suggest? Mia thought. Turned back to the window, watched the cars, watched the pattern. Every 20 minutes, they switched positions. Coordinated. Professional. We don't evacuate everyone, she said slowly. We make them think we have. Evacuate the staff and patients through the back. Quietly. Make it look like business as usual from the front. Keep lights on. Movement in windows. You and I stay. When they come at dawn thinking everyone's here, we're the only ones left. Seojun finished. And we're ready. Can you fight? He touched his side. Winced. I can shoot. They moved fast. Seojun called in a favor a friend with connections to a rival medical facility 3 blocks away. Quiet transfers. Back door. One at a time. Nurses wheeling patients in covered gurneys, moving slow, looking routine. The doctor protested. Mia explained. Showed him the message. Watched his face go pale. You're using yourselves as bait, he said. We're giving you a chance to live, Mia replied. Take it. By midnight, the facility was empty except for Mia and Seojun. They turned on every light, used mannequins from a supply closet positioned in windows, created shadows of movement. Seojun positioned weapons, a pistol for Mia, rifle for himself, extra magazines. He moved slower than he wanted, breath catching with pain. If this goes wrong, he started. It won't. If it does, don't wait for me. Run. Mia checked her weapon. I didn't refuse Soul to run now. They waited. Hours crawling. Seojun sitting, conserving strength. Mia watching the street. At 4 a.m., the watchers' cars changed again. But this time, they parked closer. Getting ready. They're moving up, Mia said. Dawn in 2 hours. At 5:30 a.m., as gray light started creeping across the sky, a van pulled up. Back doors opened. 6 people got out. Armed. Professional. Here we go, Seojun said, moving to position despite the pain. The attack came fast. Front door kicked in. Flashbang. Smoke. The team entered tactical. But Mia and Seojun weren't where they expected. They'd positioned themselves in the stairwell. High ground. Clear shots. Seojun fired first. 2 down. Mia fired. 1 more. Return fire shredded drywall. They ducked back, moved positions. A voice shouted. Facility is empty. They evacuated. Pause. Confusion. The attackers weren't prepared for this. Then another voice. Older. Authority. Coming from outside. Burn it anyway. Send the message. Seojun's eyes met Mia's. They moved. Down the stairs. Fast. He was gritting teeth against pain, but moving. They hit the back exit as the first Molotov cocktail crashed through the front window. Fire erupted. Smoke billowed. Alarms screamed. They burst into the alley. A car was waiting, Seojun's backup plan. Driver loyal, hidden 2 blocks away. Gunfire followed them. Bullets sparked off brick. They dove into the car. Tires screamed. They were moving. Behind them, the facility burned. Sirens wailed as fire trucks responded. Police converging. In the back seat, Seojun slumped, breathing hard. Blood had soaked through his bandages. The exertion had reopened the wound. Hospital, the driver said in Korean. No, Seojun replied. Safe house in Queens. Different doctor. Mia pressed her hand against his side. Pressure. Blood warm between her fingers again. We survived, she said. They'll come again. I know. The driver's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. Spoke to Seojun in Korean. Seojun's face went dark. What? Mia asked. He showed her the phone. News alert. Not about the facility. About Baltimore. Federal investigation reveals trafficking network connected to late club owner Marcus Webb. Arrests made. Victims include daughters of prominent families. Below that, another message. The same number. The girl you testified for? Her father is Senator Harrison. Her family kept it quiet. You made it public. You cost him his career. Some debts are paid in blood. Mia's hands shook. A senator. The woman she'd tried to help had been a senator's daughter. Her testimony hadn't just put Webb in prison, it had exposed a powerful family's private shame. They're not going to stop, she whispered. No, Seojun said. They won't. The car drove through Queens. Dawn was breaking. The facility was still burning behind them, and somewhere in Baltimore or Washington or Seoul, powerful people were making plans. 3 weeks passed. They moved twice. Seojun recovered slowly, his empire rebuilt carefully. By winter, his power looked stable again from outside, but inside, fractures remained. Some wounds don't heal. They stopped talking about escape or safety or any future past tomorrow. They existed in present tense. Tonight, this moment, the next move. You're still afraid, Seojun said one evening. They sat by the window of a loft in the Bronx, city lights spreading endless below. So are you, Mia replied. Yes, that's enough. He looked at her. Something in his gaze that might have been acceptance. Might have been resignation. Weeks passed. Quiet ones. The kind that made you forget danger wasn't gone, just waiting. Then Mia overheard a conversation. 2 of Seojun's men. Speaking Korean. Thinking she wouldn't understand, but she did. She caught the name, and her blood froze. The man who'd thrown the glass. The first attack. The moment that had shattered everything. He wasn't dead. Wasn't even hunted. Vanished, one man said. Not destroyed. Preserved. Someone powerful is protecting him? Has to be. Senator Harrison's reach is long. That night, Mia stood in front of the bathroom mirror, pulled off her shirt, looked at the scars across her back. Thin white lines where glass had cut deep. Healed, but permanent. Seojun appeared in the doorway. What's wrong? The man from the restaurant. The one who threw the glass. He's still alive. Protected by the senator's people. Seojun's expression didn't change. I know. You know? Her voice rose. You've known. Since the beginning. And you didn't. Killing him wouldn't have ended it. Someone paid him. Someone planned it. He was just the hand that threw. Seojun stepped closer. But I've been tracking him. Waiting for the right moment. You don't strike until you can end it completely. So, we just live with it? We live knowing it's not over. Yes. But we're not running. We're preparing. Mia turned back to the mirror, looked at her scars, at the woman she'd become. Not the invisible waitress anymore. Not the victim. Someone dangerous. Someone choosing to stand where safety was never guaranteed. Do you regret it? She asked quietly. Seojun moved closer, stood behind her, met her eyes in the mirror. The knife? No. You? Mia touched the scars on her back. No. I regret believing danger only strikes once. Later, Seojun dressed for a meeting in Koreatown. Business, territory, the constant maintenance of fractured power. Mia watched from the window as he got into the car, watched until it disappeared into traffic. Knowing he'd return, knowing that tomorrow or next week or 5 years from now, someone would come for one of them again. The glass had shattered on her back. The knife had buried in his side, and neither wound had ended anything. They'd just marked the beginning. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't open it. The message was simple. Senator Harrison sends his regards. He's patient. He can wait. But justice will come. See you soon. Mia looked out at the city. At the lights and the darkness between them. At all the places danger could hide. Danger and love had become inseparable here. And somewhere in that darkness, Senator Harrison's people were already moving. But this time, Mia and Seojun would be ready. And that's where we leave them. Not safe, but together. Should Mia have taken the Seoul passport? Drop your answer below. Subscribe for part 2. Senator Harrison isn't done. The glass thrower is still out there, and Seojun's waiting for the right moment. Like if you want to see what happens when they stop running and start hunting, see you in the next one.